to move mountains, God, to move things that we've never moved before, to do things and be dedicated in a way that we can glorify you. I pray that each and every senator here today, and you'll see our minds, and we'll do your will. Because it's not our will, Father, but it's your will. It needs to be done. So bless this time and give us your wisdom, because our wisdom is not good enough. We ask this.
Actually, we won't substitute. We would love to journalize the prayer this morning from our wonderful colleague, and appreciate his stepping in in a moment of need here. Thank you, sir. All right. Has everyone recorded their presence in the chamber? If so, the clerk will take the call. With 41 members in the chamber and a quorum being present, the Senate of Maryland is yet again back in session. Feels like we were just here. All right, we've got a lot. We've got a lot to do tonight. The goal is to clear the desk, so we'll see where we get. If we can, we may be able to enjoy a weekend, but if we can't, we can't. The work of the people takes precedence. So let's waive the journal from the reading of the journal from the prior legislative day. We have some House bills, despite them not being here this evening. I guess they did a little bit of work this morning. This is calendar 18. The clerk will read the bills.
House Bill 15, Delegate Pena Milnick, Governor's Office of Immigrant Affairs. House Bill 288.
Majority Leader moves so be considered the reading of the bills. We will go ahead into second readers. We've got a report from judicial proceedings. We do not have, is the Vice Chair, are we ready for judicial proceedings second readers, or we want to special order it for a minute? We're good? All right. This is calendar 19. The clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 78, Senator Wallstreicher, Public Safety, Law Enforcement, and Emergency Medical Services and Providers, Administrator of Ketamine, favorable with 2 amendments.
Chair recognizes the Vice Chair as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. As amended, this bill requires the Maryland Institute for Emergency Medical Services systems to collect data from state and local emergency medical services providers on the administration of ketamine. There are 2 amendments. Amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2 strikes the bill as drafted and establishes the data collection and reporting requirements. Mr. President, I move the 2 amendments and the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. Question on the amendments. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The 2 committee amendments are adopted. Question now on the favorable committee report as amended. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 78 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 397, Senator Carter, Correctional Services, Demolition Credits, Education, favorable with 3 amendments.
Chair recognizes the Vice Chair of the committee as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I apologize. The chair is not here, but apparently neither is the floor leader on this bill. So if we could please special order this bill to the end of the day today.
Floor leader moves to special order the bill. Any objections? Without objections, so ordered. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 608, Senator Jackson, Public Safety, Maryland Police Training and Standards Commission, favorable with 2 amendments.
Chair recognizes the sponsor of the bill as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Bill 608, as amended, this bill updates and modifies requirements and terminology for the Maryland Training and Standards Commission relating to memberships, procedures, and training for police officers. Among other things, the bill requires the Maryland Police Training Standards Commission to conduct job task analysis for entry-level police officers every 10 years. There are 2 committee amendments. First amendment is technical. The second makes stylistic technical changes and provides for certain police training to include training in the duty of a police officer to intervene in specified circumstances involving use of force. The bill also requires training at entry level and every 3 years concerning rape and sexual offenses, human trafficking, and the identifying of fraud and related crimes of their rights under federal law. We ask for the adoption of the two committee amendments, favorable committee amendments, as well as favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the two committee amendments and the favorable committee report. Any discussion on the amendments? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The two committee amendments are adopted. Question now on the favorable committee report as amended. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 608 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 625, Senator Carter, Courts, Jury Service Disqualification, favorable with two amendments.
Chair recognizes the sponsor of the bill as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill alters the circumstances under which an individual may be disqualified from jury service. Under the bill as amended, an individual is disqualified from jury service if the individual has been convicted in federal or state court of record of a crime punishable by imprisonment exceeding 1 year, and the individual is currently serving a sentence imposed for the conviction, including any term of probation. There are two committee amendments. Amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2 specifies that an individual is disqualified from jury service if the individual has been convicted of a crime punishable by imprisonment exceeding 1 year and is currently serving the sentence imposed for the conviction, including any term of probation. Adds current law back into the bill, specifying that an individual is disqualified from jury service if the individual has a charge pending for a crime punishable by imprisonment exceeding 1 year, and deletes an obsolete provision of the law. I would move the bill in favorable committee report. Amendments in favorable committee report. Thank you.
Floor leader moves to the adoption of two committee amendments and the favorable committee report. Question on the amendments. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The two committee amendments are adopted. Question now on the favorable committee report as amended. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 625 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. We've got calendar number 20. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 201, Senator Patterson, Criminal Procedure, Expungement of Records, Waiting Period, favorable with two amendments.
Chair recognizes the Vice Chair of the committee as floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. As amended, this bill provides that beginning October 1st, 2021, records of non-convictions maintained by the state or a political subdivision of the state are required to be expunged 3 years after disposition. The amended bill also provides that a court should provide a defendant with notice of the defendant's right to expungement and to mail a defendant a form providing for general waiver and release of tort claims relating to a charge or charges eligible for expungement under the bill. There are two committee amendments. Amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2 strikes provisions of the bill and provides for expungement of records and provides for notice to a defendant of expungement rights. Mr. President, I move the amendments and the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the two committee amendments and the favorable committee report. Question on the amendments. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The two committee amendments are adopted. Question now on the favorable committee report is amended. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 201 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 268, Senator Bailey, Criminal Law, Crime of Violence, Definition, favorable with two amendments.
Chair recognizes Senator from the sponsor of the bill as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. As amended, this bill alters the definition of a crime of violence under the criminal law article to include sexual abuse of a minor under specific circumstances when the offender is at least 21 years of age and the victim is a minor younger than age 16 at the time of the offense. Additionally, the amended bill expands the list of persons subject to lifetime sexual offender supervision to include a person who has been convicted of sexual abuse of a minor under 3602 of the criminal law article that was committed when the person was at least 21 years of age against a child under the age of 16 years. There were two committee amendments. One was technical. The other altered the provision of the bill relating to the definition of a crime of violence and added a provision relating to a person subject to lifetime sexual offender supervision. Move for the adoption of the favorable report and the two amendments.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of two committee amendments and the favorable committee report. Question on the amendments. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The two committee amendments are adopted. Question now is on the favorable committee report as amended. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 268 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. Clerk, read the next bill.
Senate Bill 445, Senator West, Vehicle Equipment Safety Glass Replacement Standards, favorable with two amendments.
Chair recognizes the sponsor of the bill as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Time was, if you had a cracked windshield, the Autoglass firm would just take out the cracked windshield and drop in its place a new windshield. These days, sophisticated electronics are embedded in many windshields, and replacing a windshield is a complicated process requiring exacting tolerances. As amended, this bill requires the Motor Vehicle Administration to adopt regulations establishing standards and requirements for aftermarket safety glass replacement that meet or exceed certain standards. The bill was passed unanimously by the committee. There are two committee amendments. The first is technical. The second clarifies the regulations that the Motor Vehicle Administration is required to adopt. I move the adoption of the two amendments as well as the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the two committee amendments and the favorable committee report. Question on the amendments. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The two committee amendments are adopted. Question now on the favorable committee report is amended. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 445 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. Clerk, read the next bill.
Senate Bill 752, Senator Hayes, Baltimore City Police Officers, Promotional Appointments, favorable with two amendments.
Chair recognizes the senator from Baltimore City as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. This local bill, as amended, alters a provision of law relating to eligible lists prepared for use by the Commissioner of the Baltimore City Police Department when making promotional appointments. Appointment made from the top or highest 25% of positions on the list. It makes corresponding alterations and renames the procedure from the rule of 5 to the rule of 25%. There are two committee amendments. Amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2 alters the promotional list requirements and the provision of the bill relating to the removal of an applicant from a promotional appointments list. There was no opposition to the bill. I would move the amendments in the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the two committee amendments and the favorable committee report. Question on the amendments. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The two committee amendments are adopted. Question now on the favorable committee report is amended. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 752 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 820, Senator West, Wills, Powers of Attorney and Advanced Directives, Electronic Execution, favorable with two amendments.
Chair recognizes the sponsor of the bill as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. During the pandemic, wills, and powers of attorney and advanced directives had to be executed remotely and not in a room containing other strangers. As amended, this bill changes the method in which wills, powers of attorney, and advanced directives may be executed. By allowing wills and powers of attorney to be executed electronically and witnessed remotely, allowing written or electronic advanced directives to be witnessed remotely, defining electronic presence for the purposes of remote witnessing, providing requirements and protections for the proper use of electronic directives, signing and remote witnessing, establishing that wills, powers of attorney, and advanced directives executed in conformance with executive orders issued by the governor during the pandemic are deemed in conformity with the bill's provisions. The bill applies retroactively to any will, power of attorney, or advanced directive executed on or after March 10, 2020. There are two committee amendments. The first is technical. The second clarifies certain definitions in the bill, exempts certain real estate transactions for the bill's requirements for powers of attorney, and requires a supervising attorney to complete a certification attesting that a remote testator is not under constraint or undue influence. I move the adoption of the amendments and the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves to the adoption of the two committee amendments and the favorable committee report. Question first on the amendments. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The two committee amendments are adopted. Question now is on the favorable committee report as amended. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 820 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. Before we do the special order, do we want to, the JPR second reader that we special ordered, when, if there's no objection, if we could bring that one back up. That would be 397. Yes, clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 397, Senator Carter, Correctional Services, Diminution Credits, Education, favorable with 3 amendments.
Chair recognizes the bill sponsor, the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. As amended, this bill authorizes diminution credits to reduce the term of confinement of an inmate who successfully completes certain educational programs, unless an inmate is serving a sentence for a sexual offense or for which they are required to register. The deduction allowed is 60 days per program completed or 40 days per program completed if an inmate is serving a sentence for a crime of violence. There are 3 committee amendments. Amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2 clarifies that an inmate must complete an educational program before being awarded diminution credits. Amendment number 3 lowers the amount of diminution credits awarded from 90 days to 60 days or 40 days if the inmate is serving a sentence for a crime of violence. The amendment additionally excludes inmates that are serving a sentence for a sexual offense for which they are required to register from receiving diminution credits under the bill. I would move the favorable committee report, and I'd move the amendments for the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves to the adoption of 3 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. Question on the amendments. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. 3 committee amendments are adopted. Question now on the favorable committee report as amended. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 397 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. All right, we have an Education, Health, Environmental Affairs second reader calendar, number 29. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 483, Senator Heddleman, Solid Waste Management, Organics, Recycling and Waste Diversion, Food Residuals, favorable with 2 amendments.
Chair recognizes the chair of the committee as the floor leader.
Mr. President, I have to tell you, staff does a great job.
Agreed.
We voted on this about 35 minutes ago. So that it got turned around so quickly is a testament to both our staff and DLS around the complex. I mean, that's a fast turnaround. Anyway, Mr. President, the Senate Bill 483 creates an organic recycling and waste diversion for food residuals. None of us like landfills in our districts, in our communities, in our jurisdictions. This bill is to try to do a couple of things. One, reduce what goes into a landfill and use them in a constructive way, whether it be for fertilizer or plant food, whatever it might be. Specifically, it calls for large generators of large quantity of food, those institutions that produce 2 tons or more a week. So we're not talking about you or me. To separate the food residuals, and then if they are within 30 miles of an organic waste facility, to use that disposal system for their organics. There are a couple of waivers or opportunity for waivers. One is if the cost is 10% more than if they would take it to the landfill station. It excludes restaurants and aggregate of school buildings for a whole county. This is one of the amendments I'm going to jump because the bill has changed drastically. You have to be within 30 miles of an organic recycling facility that will accept all the person's food waste. And it also clarifies the grant waiver for the bill as well. We basically conformed it to the House amendments. We think it's the first start of moving towards organic recycling. There are a couple of jurisdictions that have started programs. I think Montgomery County has one, parts of Prince George's County have another, and it was said that if we can reduce, as we have done for recycling, for newspapers and cardboard and things like that, reduce the waste that goes into landfills, we can reduce even further if we can take organic recycling out as well. So, Mr. President, I would move the 4 committee amendments and the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the 4 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. On the amendments, Chair recognizes Senator from District 5.
Yeah, Mr. President, I wonder if the floor leader would yield for a question.
Will the floor leader yield?
Sure.
Senator may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I was just looking through this bill and listening to your explanation. So in the committee testimony, there's a lot of opposition from Maryland, the boards of education and some other groups, that sort of a unique mix of people who didn't like the bill as originally drafted. Could you talk about, do the amendments address those concerns, or?
The bills that came in said if a school system in toto came in with 2 tons, it's been amended where one individual school would have to come up with 2 tons per week. So in other words, they were concerned every school system would be included, because if you have 30 schools, 80
Sure.
schools, 200 schools, you'd probably come close to that 2 tons per week. We changed it to, you would have to have an individual school that hit that threshold to be required to participate.
Okay,
And we also took out restaurants if there was seating capacity. So, I mean, a wholesaler or a supermarket's another story, but we think a number of the concerns have been allayed. I can't promise all of them.
No, I understand. And so I just want to be sure I understand what the bill does then. So it's requiring.
I may have to defer to the sponsor, but please.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, I'm just trying to be sure I understand. So
No.
I know there was an 11-0 vote in the committee, so I just wanted to be, this is requiring, if you hit these thresholds, the amended thresholds, you have to go to an organic facility if there's one within 30 miles?
Correct. And they're willing to accept all of your food residuals, yes. And the other factor, I didn't know how much detail to get into. If I have we'll say a supermarket, and I come up with over 2 tons and I'm within 30 miles, there are other conditions that take place first. So in other words, if you give to a food bank or you give to a local farmer who uses it to feed their cattle, it's after all of those steps are taken.
Got it. Yeah, because I saw there was opposition from like a veterans compost group, so I imagine that an amendment like that would have probably helped address that concern if you're giving it away.
Right, and look, it's a very real concern, because whether it's food scraps for people who have nothing, or whether it's being already recycled by a farmer,
Right.
We think that comes first. This is after all of that, and there's a list of about 4 or 5 things on page either 2 or 4.
And the goal is just trying to reduce how much goes into regular landfills, basically? Is that the basic goal here? I know I'm asking you, and you're not the sponsor, but...
And to use it in a productive way. I mean, if it goes on crops to grow more plants, flowers, or food, we think that's beneficial.
But it does require, this is not just for obviously public or schools, this is also for private sector. It's been heavily amended to address food insurance, but it still does include private sector.
If they produced 2 tons or more in the first few years, then it steps down to 1 ton in out years.
Okay.
Per week.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. President, I have maybe a couple concerns here, but I don't know that an amendment is going to address my concerns. So I just a little concerned about mandating something this extensively, but I do think the amendments make it a little better. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Any further discussion on the amendments? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The 4 committee amendments are adopted. Question now is on the favorable committee report as amended. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 483 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 901, Senator Hester, Public Safety, Emergency Management, Resilient Maryland Revolving Loan Fund, favorable with 2 amendments.
Chair recognizes the sponsor of the bill as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, we spend a lot of time in EHE talking about flooding and dredging and building codes because we really need a lot of help in that area. And this bill addresses that. Senate Bill 901 establishes the Resilient Maryland Revolving Loan Fund within the Maryland Emergency Management Agency. This loan fund is a special non-lapsing fund with the stated purpose of providing loans for local resiliency projects that address mitigations of all hazards, including natural disasters, which of course includes flooding. Amendment number 1 adds co-sponsors and makes technical changes. Amendment number 2 strikes language that would have established a mandatory appropriation of $5 million per year. And it is our understanding that this year's capital budget will include $25 million for the fund. Thus, the amendment also changes the bill's effective date to June 1st to coincide with the effective date of the capital budget. Colleagues, if you'll just bear with me for a second, I want to tell you just a little bit about this fund. Under the Biden administration, there's something called the STORM Act, which is a 90-10 match for this type of resiliency loan fund. So this $25 million can become $250 million in the loan fund. There is also something called the BRIC grant program, which is Building Resilient Infrastructure in Communities. And that is a 75% grant match. So we can turn this $250 million into $1 billion worth of combined loans and grants to help us with flooding all across the state of Maryland. I gotta say, I like this bill a lot. Mr. Chairman, I ask for the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. Question on the amendments. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The 2 committee amendments are adopted. Question now. Chair recognizes the chair of the Capital Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a very, very important bill, and a bill that the senator brought to Budget and Tax and Capital. It leverages 9 times the funds that we put in for flooding. And I can tell you from the capital budget, we started out with a budget of about $5 to $7 million, and there were 5 counties that had flooding problems. Now there's 3 more. So I just really take my hat off to the senator who went out and did the research, came into my office and said, hey, I got another crazy idea, and this crazy idea could create $1 billion, and also Treasurer Kopp, who supported the idea. So this is a really very important bill to help our community. Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, thank you, Senator, and thank you, Senator, for the watching out for those how we can leverage our capital dollars the best way possible. We sincerely appreciate it. All right, on the report, any further discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report, as amended, is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 901 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. All right, let's go to some of our unfinished work. We got a special order calendar. This is calendar 32. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 741, Senator Rosapep, COVID-19 Testing, Contact Tracing, and Vaccination Act of 2021. This is an emergency bill.
Question before the body is on the adoption of the favorable committee report as amended. Chair recognizes the senator from the 33rd District.
I'd like to ask some questions about the amended bill. Would the floor leader yield?
Would the floor leader yield for some questions? Senator may proceed.
Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator, wow. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know the price ticket for this thing? How many dollars does this bill mandate us to put aside for these programs?
It doesn't mandate any Maryland money. It mandates the money that's coming from the federal government that comes for the purpose of COVID surveillance testing, contact tracing. So it's federal money.
Well, it's still our money.
Well, we can't use it for anything else. We're mandated by the federal government to use certain money for certain COVID testing and surveillance.
And do you have an estimate on how much it is? Just a ballpark. On the back of an envelope, I came up with $85 million.
Maybe.
All right?
But if the bill says as amended that it's only federal money. It's not Maryland money that we're spending.
$85 million. I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, in my neighborhood, that's a lot of money. So the issue is, this is an emergency bill. It was first introduced in the, for a hearing on February 21st. Here we are, just shy of a month later. Is there any reason that it took so long for it to marinate to come to the floor today?
Yes, it is. We had a work group. We worked with all the stakeholders that had amendments that they wanted on this bill, and we worked with them and amended the bill, and all the favorable with amendment issues were addressed. So it takes a little while to work with stakeholders and bring a good bill out.
Well, we would all agree on this floor, this bill is the number one issue in front of us as a General Assembly this year, is to knock down the COVID.
Yes.
But as I go through the bill, page after page, it talks about inoculations, tracing, goal setting. Don't we have that already in place?
No, if we had a plan, we probably wouldn't be where we are today. We should have had this plan last year.
It keeps talking about the local health departments. Isn't the Anne Arundel County Health Department, on top of what we're doing, putting as many vaccine vials into people's arms today? Aren't we maxing out our allocation every week?
Well, we're maxing out. We could use more allocation that we're not getting, and we're also not getting to our seniors who really should have been our number one people that we vaccinate.
Oh,
So,
I agree with that. I agree with that. But
the plan wasn't well crafted and carried out.
But aren't all these plans subject to federal availability of the vaccines to our state? I mean, it sounds like we've been sitting on our administrative chairs, not moving forward because we didn't plan well. Isn't it rather that the feds and the vendors haven't been shipping us enough vaccine?
Well, that's part of the vaccine issue. How we use it is another issue, but that's not all the bill addresses.
I understand that.
You know.
I understand that. But much of it has to do with getting the vaccine into people's arms. And my impression is we're doing a good job of when we get it in people. I don't know if you would agree with that, but that's my evaluation. And this bill seems to say we're not doing it now, and I think we are. That's my observation. Would you yield to the sponsor of the bill?
Would the floor leader yield to the sponsor of the bill?
Thank you.
Sponsor of the bill? Is there a question, Senator, or a reflection or reaction to those questions? Is that the Senator may proceed?
Okay, thank you. My colleague and friend is asking exactly the right questions.
Oh, thank you.
Why do we need, we always ask good questions. I don't mean to sound surprised. No, they're very good questions. Why do we need this? We need this because the last year has not gone that well. It has not been well organized. We have not been getting, I serve with the President and with several other members on the Senate Vaccine Oversight Committee that meets every week, 4 o'clock in the afternoon with the Health Secretary. And every week we have issues about how the system has not been working. It's getting better, and I give them a lot of credit for that. The reason we drafted this bill is because working with the local health officers, and very frankly, our common local health officer in Anne Arundel was deeply involved in drafting this bill, along with other health officers, because they've been frustrated that there hasn't been a coherent state plan, that they hear about decisions, shall we say, on less than 24 hours notice. And that has involved tests, that's involved tracing, that's involved vaccinations. The federal government, God bless them, under the previous president, under this president, previous Congress, this Congress, had put up a lot of money to help defeat this virus. But what the federal government has said is it's up to the state to figure out how to spend it. The plan, the execution is in the state's hands, and that's exactly why this bill was drafted the way it was, and the work group worked very hard in the committee. A year ago, we had an excuse for not having a plan. Now we have no excuse for not having a plan. And that's why we worked with all the stakeholders, the insurance companies, the insurance commissioner, the health officers, the hospitals, the whole group of them, all the stakeholders that the chair of the work group talked about, to see what they needed. And this bill is the result of their view that the federal money needs to be spent well, and this bill is designed to help the state spend it well.
Well, the bills, would you like to take some more questions, or should I go back to the floor leader?
It's up to you and she.
Does the floor leader wish to yield to the sponsor?
Mr. President, let's see what the question is. If it's
Fair
about
enough,
money,
fair
or
enough.
It's a good question.
if it's about money, we'll send it to the B&T. If it's about process, I'm happy to take it.
Okay, fine. Well, then From Anne Arundel County, here comes the questions. The bill calls for a weekly meeting. Aren't we already doing that?
Well, we are now. and I
Yeah,
think we
so
were doing
again,
that
I
when the bill
keep
was-
seeing page after page of issues that we're already doing. One of the things that caught my eye was that within a very short period of time, there needs to be a report given to the General Assembly.
June 1st, yes.
On page 6 of 15, line number 6, on or before, and it was amended. It was April 1st, which coming up pretty quick, and it was amended to June 1st, 2021.
Yes.
The department, and I presume that's the Department of Health,
Yes.
will submit to a plan required under this section to the General Assembly under a specific citation, and I don't know what that citation is. Who in the General Assembly, when we're out of session, will be receiving this report?
The administration and Department of Health, I believe.
Okay, very good. Now, from today to the date of the report is 71 days.
Yes.
The report, and it's going to be from the, excuse me, gentlemen, and from the effective date of the bill, they'll have till June 1st, so it's 71 days today. I presume it won't become effective for another 2 weeks, and if the governor doesn't sign it and let it becomes law, it may be in May before it becomes effective. Are you confident that the Department of Health can meet the statutory dates in this bill? It seems like you have an awful lot of information that it's going to be required on June 1st in a very short period of time. Is this a little too aggressive? Should this date be pushed back a little bit?
Can I read you a statement from the Department of Health?
Sure.
MDH thanks the General Assembly for its support during the COVID-19 pandemic and looks forward to our continued partnership, and we continue in our response efforts. We would welcome working with the legislature and relevant stakeholders to establish the Maryland Public Health Job Corps and a Maryland Public Health Infrastructure Modernization Work Group. MDH will continue to work with the General Assembly on the state's pandemic response, including assessing appropriate COVID-19 testing and vaccination benchmarks in accordance with Maryland's unique needs and the recommendation of public health experts. I think that's a pretty supportive letter.
I'm telling you, I got a copy of it. I was very impressed that the Department of Health says this is a good blueprint. But also in that letter, Senator, on the 2, 4, 6 line, the bill will require MDH meet certain benchmarks, including the capacity to perform 100,000 tests per day. Not inoculations, but testing. Do you have, I know we measure the number of inoculations per day. Did the committee discuss how many tests are being done per day now?
Just give me 1 second. I have that in my notebook at my office, but that doesn't help. Yes. Okay.
Does the Vice Chair?
100,000 has been struck from the bill. At the height, we were doing 50,000 tests a day, but the 100,000 has been struck from the bill.
And thank you, Senator, because I couldn't find it in the bill. That's why I had it circled on the letter from the Department of Health. Thank you very much for clarifying that. But in the letter also highlights a provision of the bill that I think is still there. Could you share with the body what the Maryland Public Health Job Corps is?
Well, the Maryland Public Health Job Corps will be the plan that's put together to help with the testing, the contract tracing, the vaccinations. It will be a group of professionals that will be prepared to do this work.
Do you have a sense? I don't think the bill addresses numbers of people and the length and breadth of the organization. In your committee testimony, was there a discussion about how large this Job Corps group will be?
No, but I can tell you we had a tremendous amount of support for it from the Maryland Department of Health, from the University of Maryland. There's a Baltimore City Job Corps that's worked very well, and they've supported it. So we do have a tremendous amount of support for that Job Corps.
And also in our county, we had a number of people laid off from the hospital who might be eligible for this organization. But I didn't know if we had any specifics.
No, the hospital's actually asking those folks to come back and do vaccinations, so I think the people that were laid off are being reemployed.
Well, that's very, very good news. Could you share with the body what the Maryland Public Health Infrastructure Modernization Work Group is?
Mr. Vice Chairman, will
Does the
you
senator
answer
want to
that?
yield to the sponsor?
Yep, please yield.
Sponsor.
Absolutely. This was maybe the number one recommendation of the local health officers. Since the Great Recession in 2009, when we had to make a lot of budget cuts, we made a lot of budget cuts in our public health infrastructure. And so when we got to when the virus showed up a year ago, we weren't prepared. We're not the only state in the country who wasn't prepared, but we weren't prepared. And we saw it last year. And so one of the recommendations of the local health departments, and everybody else agreed with it, I don't think there's any controversy about this, is we got to plan ahead a little bit now. We need to learn the lessons of the last year. We got to plan ahead to rebuild our infrastructure of public health, partly because this virus, we hope, is going to fall back, not be that dangerous months from now, but it's not necessarily going to go away. And what we call the flu is viruses from years ago, and other viruses are coming. So the idea that we have to rebuild our infrastructure is what this work group is designed to say. Let's look ahead. Let's plan ahead. Let's get prepared for the next attack.
And as I looked at the makeup of the Senator, if you could continue with me.
Sorry?
Could you continue on this line of questioning?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I thought you were
So when I looked at the work group, it had 5 specific people, a delegate, a senator,
Yep.
whatever, and 5 others who were, or others who were knowledgeable about this type of public health service. But again, we don't know the length and the breadth. I guess the work group will grow according to the needs of the state?
I mean, I may defer back to the floor manager on that. I don't know if amendments were made on that particular issue in the work group. Okay. The idea was to put together the right group of people. There's no perfect group of people, but the idea that the mission is to rebuild our public health infrastructure so we're prepared for the next attack.
Okay. Senator, thank you very much for your explanation. To the floor manager, thank you very much for your guidance in this issue. Ladies and gentlemen, number one issue before the state of Maryland, I'm fully embracing in the attitude of organize, train, gear up, but I think we've been doing okay. I think our number one issue is we just don't have enough vaccine. And I think that's outside the control of many of the folks in the state. At least that's my impression. I'm not as in-depthly engaged as some of my other peers. But it's still, it gets back to the money. We're quoting a lot of dollars being thrown at a lot of problems, which I look at as duplicative. If we need to embrace and enhance these programs, I think we already have structure in place with our current state government. And again, we've been told the federal government's given the state a lot of money, some of which is unidentified to use as needed. I'll be voting for the bill, but I'll be supportive of whatever I can do to make this happen, because this is our number one issue. Let there be no doubt about it. The sooner we get this under control, the sooner we get back to normal. But at the same time, I think I would encourage strong fiscal discipline on how many people need to be hired for the Job Corps, how many dollars need to be invested in the infrastructure for our public health. Just because we have the money doesn't mean we have to spend it. There's another issue I have about the bill covering several years of expenditures, and I'm not on the budget committee, but I don't know if we can actually apportion or allocate money for a year, 2, 3 years in the future like this bill would like to. So maybe it's aspirational. I don't know. Mr. President, I had an amendment. I have an amendment, and I want to thank Department of Legislative Services. So at about, 20 after 11, I said, I don't have my amendment. It was in my office. My staff was delayed in getting it to me. Department of Legislative Services did a very nice job, very quick. I, again, as several of my peers have done, want to thank them for their responsiveness. I won't be offering the amendment. I'll be watching, interested as we sit here a year from now. We're looking back a year from now, we'll look back again. I'm going to be very interested in seeing how we can be accountable, how we can be frugal, and yet effective. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. And just the thing, it is kind of remarkable. I'm just in science of it. Of a year later, and we have 3 vaccines. I mean, it just is. It is a testament to human ingenuity. It's kind of remarkable. Thank you, Senator. Question is on the favorable committee report as amended. Chair recognizes the Vice Chair of Finance.
Just because the gentleman from Anne Arundel kept talking about the finances, and the floor leader particularly made the point about, this is federal money. So I guess this is a jointly referred bill between the Finance Committee and the Budget and Tax Committee. So I wonder if the chair of the Budget and Tax Committee might yield for just 1 or 2 quick questions. So it's jointly assigned, and so the gentleman seemed quite concerned about the amount of federal money that we're not using it wisely. If the Finance Committee hypothetically would have sent B&T an amendment that said, this is too much money, and we have an amendment that we want to send you back half of it because we're too concerned that we have too much and we won't spend it wisely, what would the Budget and Tax Committee likely, in your opinion, have done with such an adjustment by the Finance Committee?
I suppose it would have depended on what kind of money it was. Since it's all federal money, we would have probably talked about how we could have used that money for the purposes that the federal government actually has proposed us to use the money for, regardless of the size of the amendment that they might have sent.
I just want to emphasize the point. I don't mean to be, I don't know how to describe, but the fact is we're talking about federal money, and I appreciate the concern that perhaps some of this money would be better spent in Virginia or Utah or Connecticut or some other state. But I think we should take the money and spend it wisely. But the idea that you're too concerned about the federal money, I think that argument, in all candor, is a curious one, and I just want to make that point. I don't really want to say any more.
All right. Questions on? Sorry. Senator, Chair recognizes the Senator from District 5.
Just a quick response to that, because I listened with great interest to this discussion and the questions, and obviously I had some concerns in the committee myself. I just think it's really important to say we don't want to necessarily send federal money back, and I don't think that was the point that my colleague from Anne Arundel County was making. I think the point is, the concern is, are we setting up a COVID industrial complex for 2 years? And that was a concern. Now, I've talked with the sponsor of the bill, and he's been very gracious to talk with me. I still have some concerns, but I do understand a little bit more about some of what's gone into this. But I just want to make the point. I don't think the point is just that we want to send the money back, but it is all our tax dollars, whether it's federal or state. It is good that there's federal money available, but I just think it's a little bit of a nuanced point to say it's not about sending the money back, but it is saying just because we get a pile of federal money doesn't mean we should spend it on this necessarily. I think that's the point. Obviously, some of it needs to go to that. I just wanted to make that very clear. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Chair recognizes the Senator from 43rd District.
Thank you, Mr. President. With the floor leader yield for a couple questions, I want to follow up on something you said. I want to clarify.
Certainly. Thank you.
Senator may proceed.
Thank you so much. You said something about there was a reference about that that everything is going well. That I think you made a reference to that maybe there are vaccinations going out, but you seem to suggest that they might not be going out to their arms where they should be. In other words, they're putting it in arms. But are you experiencing your constituents, or is there some reason why that the legislature is taking this step to really suggest that there be a plan for implementation when it comes to vaccination?
Senator, thank you for the question. I saw a report today that more out-of-state people in Charles County have gotten vaccinations than Marylanders. I have a family member who's been trying for weeks to get a vaccination because she's starting cancer treatments, and she gets her email and she answers it immediately, and there's no vaccines left. I'm hearing those stories. We're all hearing those stories from our constituents. So part of it is we aren't getting enough vaccines, but you sit on that Monday night COVID group. Part of it is I believe that the vaccines aren't getting to the right people. I've been really encouraged by my local hospital.
It's getting a little loud in the chamber. If we could just please keep our attention on the senator who has the floor.
My local hospital has now started a mobile vaccination unit and is going out to the underserved communities, and I'm very encouraged by that. But that's the kinds of things I think we'll see come out of this work group in the Job Corps.
Thank you. And just a follow-up, I also noticed that and you being the policy committee, that you're not just focused on testing, not just focused on vaccinations, and that appears to be the focus of the health department, but it looks like you're asking actually for a plan for continued testing and contact tracing. Could you just remind the body the importance of a holistic approach to addressing the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, and you're correct. It's contact tracing, it's surveillance, and so we've asked the colleges, both the community colleges and the four-year colleges that have a congregate living. We've asked the home health care workers, the nursing homes, all to have a surveillance plan so that they keep their workers and their patients safe. And so that's all part of the bill also.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senators. All right, question is on the report. Chair recognizes the Senator from Baltimore and Howard counties.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm wondering if the floor leader would yield to some questions as well.
Will the floor leader yield? Appears so. Senator may proceed.
Absolutely.
Sure. So, and thank you for highlighting some of the concerns that you're seeing in your local jurisdiction as well. I'm looking at an article from the Baltimore Sun just a few weeks ago that cited some huge variations in the vaccination rate per capita between some of these counties. And it cited data showing that Kent County had 283 first doses per 1,000 residents, and Anne Arundel County had only 88 initial doses per 1,000 residents. Those are huge disparities there, and is it quite possible that it was the lack of planning that led to these huge disparities that we're seeing even within counties here in the state?
I don't think that's the case with Anne Arundel. We're very well planned, and then vaccinations, we find out on a Friday night that we're not getting the vaccinations that we've planned for and that we've recorded appointments for. So I have every confidence in my health officer, Dr. Kellyanne Arama, that we're well planned, but it is sometimes a shortage of vaccines that, as you say, are going to other counties in different ratios.
Right, and the point is that these decisions are actually made not by the local health department, by the Maryland Department of Health as to where these doses are being allocated, right? And so the local health departments, we think, are doing a phenomenal job with the limited number of vaccines that they're getting. Many of them are clamoring for more vaccines, but they're not being provided to them because of poor planning by the state health department in how these are actually being allocated. And up to this point, we still don't even know what their methodology is to how they're allocating these doses. And so what you're seeing, because you represent parts of Anne Arundel County as well, is a reflection of the fact that it has the lowest rates of receiving doses per capita in the state. And is that what you're seeing from your constituents too?
Absolutely, and I appreciate your work on the task force to highlight those issues. Thank you.
Absolutely, and that's why I think proper planning from the state and proper coordination with the local health departments is really critically important, and we're not, from my perspective, seeing that type of collaboration nor the planning that's necessary from the state. That's why this is so important.
Thank you, Mr. Senator.
Thank you, Senators. All right, the question is on the report. On the report, any discussion, further discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 741 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 205, Senator Heddleman, alcoholic beverages, sale or delivery for off-premises consumption. Bill is on second reader and open to amendment.
All right, Senators, Senate Bill 205 is on second reader, open to amendment. Chair recognizes the Senator from the 21st District.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. You'll be glad to know my amendments have arrived.
Excellent.
So I have two amendments. I won't take too much time with this. The first one is 133425.
425. Give us one moment, Senator. All right, Senator may explain the amendment.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. In the debate earlier today, my friend and neighbor, the chair of the Education, Health, and Environment Committee, made the point, which was totally right, that this bill was largely about a turf battle between different aspects of the alcohol industry. I used to serve on EHE, so I'm very familiar with those turf battles, where the grocery stores don't like the bars don't like the liquor stores don't like the restaurants. They all want the business for themselves. Totally understandable. It's the American way. And a deal was made, and that's what this bill is. Basically, the lobbyists representing the different factors in the liquor industry made a deal that they felt are in their interests. As I think was mentioned earlier, the opposition to this bill in the committee came from the public health advocates. And we talked about the public health issues earlier. I'm not going to belabor that point. But I also looked at the testimony in the bill. As far as I could tell, there was no testimony from community groups. No testimony for the people who are in neighborhoods that are affected by excessive access to alcohol. I don't know whether that happened in your district. I don't know whether that happened in Fells Point. I know it happens in some areas of my district. And the way it works over the years is when a community has a concern, they can go to the liquor board and say, look, we got some good actors, we got some bad actors. We got a problem here, we don't have a problem here. And they have a voice. So what this amendment does is it says that if a county decides to continue off-site from the restaurants after the emergency is over, the local liquor board will have the ability to hold public hearings about where those off-premises sales should be allowed, to be able to make geographical distinctions, to say, yes, there's some areas in our county where the community wants it. And my friend from the capital city talked about Annapolis, conceivably, she knows her constituency, wanting this. I represent another part of Anne Arundel County. It's not obvious to me that folks in western Anne Arundel County are going to want it as much as folks in Annapolis want it. So what this amendment would do is give the local liquor boards the authority to say, yes, do it where folks want it, and don't do it where folks don't want it. That would allow the folks who were not represented at the hearing, who were not represented in this conversation and the deal that was made, to have a voice about their communities. So I move the amendment to allow the local liquor boards in counties that opt in to make geographic decisions about where these off-site sales are allowed.
Senators move the amendment. Chair recognizes the floor leader.
Thank you, and thank you for sharing the amendment with me. What we did, we listened to both sides, and they came and they said, this is what we'd like, and they negotiated for a while, and then we put our stamp on this piece of legislation. This was just not the two sides getting together. This was a committee product that we put together with a lot of hard work, and we tried to balance the needs of the businesses, the local boards and the pressures that would be put on them, and also the health concerns. And we're concerned with the setting up the zones may be problematic, and also the additional pressures that the local boards are going to be receiving to get their areas opened or closed. And that's why we set up this basic statewide framework. And also the way I read the amendment, the proponent is saying, you know, there are some areas that don't want this, and we should set up geographic areas. But the way the amendment's drafted is it says not until the state of emergency is over. So that could be another year from now. So their county would allow this all over the county, not in geographic areas, but then magically after the emergency is over, then they would do it as if the emergency was the reason they didn't like it. So we don't think that's good policy, so we would reject and ask you to reject this amendment.
All right. On the amendment, are there any senators who have not yet spoken who wish to speak? Chair recognizes the senator from the 38th District, followed by the senator from Montgomery County.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to remind my colleagues from our earlier discussion how important SB 205 is to our restaurants. And this amendment would put some of those same restaurants that we're trying to help at an economic disadvantage if they are prohibited in their specific locations versus the other areas within a local jurisdiction. So you have some that could do the carry out with a food purchase, and then others within the same county in a different area that cannot. This is not consistent with the intent to allow all restaurants to benefit from this privilege. Businesses within the restricted areas of jurisdiction will lose customers who want to purchase alcoholic beverages with their food orders to other businesses outside of those restricted areas. This patchwork is going to be extremely confusing for customers, and it's unfair to businesses. that really should have a level playing field in this recovery. Moreover, it would make little sense to restrict restaurants from providing alcohol for carrying out delivery in certain geographic areas, because restaurants located outside these areas could still deliver to those customers who live within the restricted areas. And this is going to prevent customers from supporting their very own local neighborhood restaurants that we're all trying to help. And again, I just would like to share with my colleagues that other states are assisting their restaurants, and they are extending this delivery of alcohol with, again, a food purchase in 33 other states. And in about 20 of those states, there is currently legislation pending to extend this privilege to either make it permanent or extend it for a period of time. The District of Columbia, Ohio, and the state of Iowa are all looking at permanent extensions of this. So again, we have come a long way from when the bill was originally introduced with the permanent extension. It's been worked through with the stakeholders. This bill is extremely important to the restaurants, and I ask my colleagues to oppose this amendment.
Chair recognizes the Senator from Montgomery County.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think the Senator from District 38 just did a great job. I'm just going to add one more reason why I'm going to oppose the amendment, which is it seems to me it could amplify the presence of drunk driving. If Montgomery County, in its wisdom, decided to allow the many wonderful restaurants in down county Bethesda to make these carry-out alcohol options available, and then folks are driving up to Germantown or Clarksburg or Brookville or something, they're on the road and they could have already started imbibing. I think it's well-intentioned, but I'll be voting no. Bad idea. Thank you.
All right, on the amendment, Chair recognizes the Senator from Frederick City.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll be very quick. I think this is an attempt to create a solution for a problem that doesn't exist. I was very hesitant when this began. We have a lot of restaurants in my area. There's 70 in downtown. They don't all have liquor license, but there's a lot of them. I've talked to the alcohol board. We have had no problems. This has been in existence quite a while now, and we've had no problems from it being there. And if they do, right now they have the authority, if somebody's misusing it or serving younger people or whatever, they have the authority to take their license and shut them down. Or first they have the opportunity to fine them greatly. But that hasn't happened. We haven't had that problem at all. It's actually worked, and it's helping restaurants, and they need the help. And if I had seen there were problems, I'd stand here and vote against it, but we haven't had those problems. So I think this is trying to, again, come up with a solution for a problem that doesn't exist.
All right, on the amendment, if there is no other senator who has not yet spoken wishes to speak, Chair recognizes maker of the amendment.
Thank you, and hopefully we can wrap this up. I don't want to drag this out too long. I appreciate everybody's consideration. I would just say the essence of this amendment is letting our local communities have a voice. So it isn't just the industry and their fight with each other and their agreements, that our communities will have a voice like they do normally in these liquor board decisions. That's what this is about. I appreciate everyone's consideration, and I will sit down.
All right, on the amendment, no further discussion. All in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Noes have it. Senator has another amendment.
I do have another amendment. You'll like this one better. It'll be quick. I appreciate the chair of the committee and the subcommittee chair working with me on this. The number is 323428.
428.
One of the thoughts that the subcommittee chair and the floor leader and the chair of the committee raised was, well, we'll have this experiment and then we can see how it works. Good idea. So what this amendment does is simply says that the health department needs to conduct a study during this period of time. Let's see how it worked. I I've talked with the chairs, and I think it's acceptable, but they need to speak for themselves. But simply say, we're doing an experiment. Let's evaluate it. Propose the amendment.
Senators move the amendment. Chair recognizes the floor leader.
I would have really liked to accept this amendment. Oh, wait a minute. I was just getting on a roll there. Yeah, we will take this as a friendly amendment.
All right, committee, look at that. Making bills better minute by minute. All right, any objections to the senator's amendment? Without objection, the amendment is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 205 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. Let's see, we've got a laid over calendar. This is layover calendar number 16. Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 841, Senator Hershey, property tax, solar energy systems. Question is on the adoption of the committee amendments and the favorable report.
All right, question is on the three committee amendments. Chair recognizes the bill sponsor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to thank the floor leader and the vice chair of finance, and together we were able to work out the differences. Thank you very much.
Senate's at its best. All right, question on the amendments. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor of the chair recognizes the senator from District 30. All right. All in favor of the amendment say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The three committee amendments are adopted. Question now is on the favorable committee report as amended. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 841 is hereby ordered printed for third reader. Moving along. All right, I think let's do a quorum call before third reader calendar.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their presence? If so, the clerk will take the call. With 45 members in the chamber and a quorum being present, the Senate of Maryland remains in session. This is calendar 34. The clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 417, Senator Pinsky, Power Plant Research Program, review of application for Certificate of Public Convenience and Necessity alterations.
Senate Bill 417 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 33 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 417, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 676, Senator Edwards, Garrett County Public Schools Virtual Education Days Pilot Program.
Senate Bill 676 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 676, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 746, Senator Gazzoni, Education, Community Colleges, Collective Bargaining.
Senate Bill 746 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 31 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 746, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. On to calendar 35. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 20, Senator Carter, vehicle laws canceled, revoked, and suspended, driver's licenses.
Madam Clerk, just give us one moment. Senator District 9.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. My button wasn't working. I'd like to be recorded in the green on 417.
417. Without any objection to the Senator's motion? Without objection, Senator will be recorded in the green. 417. All right. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Onwards.
Senate Bill 20, Senator Carter, vehicle laws canceled, revoked, and suspended, driver's licenses, penalties.
Senate Bill 20 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 20, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 35, Senator Feldman, procurement, prevailing wage applicability.
Senate Bill 30. Senate Bill 35 is on third reader for final passage. Chair recognizes the sponsor of the bill.
Yes, Mr. President. I'm going to move to have the bill move back to second reader for purposes of a clarifying technical amendment.
Senators move to reconsider the vote by which it passed on second reader. Are there any objections to the senator's motion? Without objection, so ordered. The bill is now back on second reader, subject to an amendment.
Yeah, and just to declare, you won't need the bill. The amendment number is 0035/983-223/1.
All right, give us just one quick moment. Do we have this one, Madam Secretary? Can you read the number again one more time, Senator?
Yeah, 0035/983-223/1.
Okay, one moment. Senator may explain the amendment.
Yeah, so yesterday we adopted a friendly floor amendment from the senator from Frederick, and this amendment clarifies a bit more tightly the intent, which was to exempt the bond bills, and so it's drafted to the third reader, so we don't have to withdraw that amendment from yesterday. So again, this clarifies, tightens it up, and with that, I'd move this amendment, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Are there any objections to the senator's amendment? Without objection, the amendment is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 35 is again ordered printed for third reader. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 49, Senator Lee, State Government, Department of Information and Technology, Cybersecurity.
Senate Bill 49 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 49, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 69, Senator Hester, Cybersecurity, Coordination and Operations, Establishment and Reporting.
Senate Bill 69 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded the vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 69, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 144, Senator Gazzoni, Electric Vehicle Recharging Equipment for Multifamily Units.
Senate Bill 144 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? Senator from the 27th District, explain his vote.
I'm sorry, Mr. President, it was the previous bill.
Oh,
I'll wait to the end.
Catch us at the end of the calendar.
Yeah, sorry.
No worries. All right. If there are no further explanations of the vote, clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 144, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 163, Senator Ellis, Maryland Medical Assistance Program, Doula Pilot Program.
Senate Bill 163 is on third reader for final passage. Chair recognizes the minority whip.
I just have a question about this bill.
For the floor leader. Will the floor leader yield to a question? Senate Bill 163. Sponsor of the bill, wish to answer a question? Chair of the committee. Vice Chair of the committee.
Yeah, I think Madam Chair may have been the floor leader earlier reason, so I'm not quite sure who has the file. Sponsors yielding, though.
Yes.
Sponsor of the bill. The sponsor will yield to a question.
Yes, Mr. President.
Senator may proceed.
Yeah, my question is, I'm looking at the testimony, and I certainly want to support a doula program, and I understand, with our first child, we didn't have a doula, but we did Lamaze, and so I'm totally familiar with that. I guess my question, though, is I see Maryland Right to Life was opposing it, but then there's amendments. Maryland Right to Life seems to be saying that these could be used. I've never heard of this, an abortion doula, but then the amendments reflect that there's a definition of the program, and I was hoping you could put me at ease as far as what exactly there's this definition of what a doula is. I mean, I guess that's my question. Is Maryland Right to Life's concern still accurate with the way that the amendments are in this bill?
Well, Senator, this bill has nothing to do with doulas. We have, I'm sorry, nothing to do with abortion. Sorry.
Okay. All right, we're on. Okay.
Okay.
It's
been a long week, colleagues.
I understand.
This bill have nothing to do with abortion. Thank you for that correction. This bill have nothing to do with abortion. We have a serious problem in the United States, in Maryland, where we have minority, African American women, poorer women having worse outcomes during the birthing process, maybe 3 or 4 to 1. The delivery's outcome on moms who are poor, mainly African American, Latino women, are 4 times worse as far as with these moms, dads losing their child. And so this pilot program is meant to provide doulas. Doulas are birthing coaches. They coach moms-to-be during the entire process for delivering a baby. It's a very successful program, and it's being piloted in, I think, 4 other states. New York being one, very successful. Had a few years there in New York. This doula program was studied extensively in research and debated by our bipartisan Senate President's Work Group on Equity and Inclusion, and it is one of the recommendations for our Inclusion Committee to have this bill and this program piloted in Maryland. So this has absolutely nothing to do with abortion. I said it correctly this time. This have nothing to do with abortion, but everything to do with making babies born healthy, safely, and that's it.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at the, I'm looking at it, and it seems okay because the number, Roman numeral 1 on the amendments, has received a certification from affirmed doula services from the International Childbirth Education Association, the Doulas of North America, the Association of Labor Assistants, Childbirth Educators, or the Childbirth Postpartum Professional Association. So I'm hoping that those amendments take care of what the opposition testimony was saying. So with that, I'll have a seat. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. True story. We had a doula for our first Caleb's birth, and the intent was a natural childbirth. It was unbelievably helpful. We called right when she went into labor. The whole thing went well. Second time around, I said, I'm fine, no big deal. We don't need a doula. I got this. Second time, Cora's born. Leah looks up and looks over at me and says, Bill, I think you need to sit down. And I basically passed out right after Cora had been born. So it turns out doula was a helpful thing there. I was a little overconfident for baby number 2. Is the Minority Leader?
Yeah, I mean, this is an important issue to get the definition right. Because I'm looking just a quick Google on this, and I've got the BaltimoreDoulaProject.org, and they say their services: birth support, virtual birth support, prison support, and abortion support. And they have abortion doula services. So can I just special order this one day just to make sure that definition in there, because that's something I want to make sure I get right on the vote.
Senators, move to special order the bill. Can we do it to the end of the calendar today, so if we can get some information, see where we are at the end of the calendar?
Okay, we can try it.
Does that work? We'll amend that motion to that. If there's no objection to just putting it to the end of the calendar tonight, we'll see if we can get some clarification and then move it along if we've satisfied the question. Without objection, so ordered. Clerk, read the next bill.
Senate Bill 183, Senator Young, Audiology and Speech Language Pathology, Interstate Compact.
Senate Bill 183 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 183, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 192, Senator West, Cemeteries, Perpetual Care, Distribution from Perpetual Care Trust Fund.
Senate Bill 192 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 192, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 327, Senator Wallstreicher, Civil Actions, Financial Exploitation of Susceptible Adults and Older Adults, Maryland SAFE Act.
Senate Bill 327 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 327, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 335, Senator Signor, Courts, Non-Governmental Corporate Parties, Disclosure Statements.
Senate Bill 335 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 335, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 351, Chair, Education, Health, and Environmental Affairs Committee, State Government, Protection of Information, Revisions, Maryland Data Privacy Act.
Senate Bill 351 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 351, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 364, Senator McCray, Baltimore City Civil Claims Against Law Enforcement Officers of an Institution of Higher Education, Prohibition Against Non-Disparagement Clause in Settlement Agreement.
Senate Bill 364 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 364, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Chair recognizes Senator from the 27th District.
Yes, Mr. President, I had some operator errors back here.
No worries.
Senate Bill 69, green. Senate Bill 144, green.
Green on 69 and 144. Any objections? Without objection, so ordered. Any other vote issues? If not, all right.
Mr. President?
Yes, Senator from Howard and Baltimore counties.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to change my vote on Senate Bill 183 from green to red.
Green to red on 183. Are there any objections? Without objection, so ordered. All right. Let's go to calendar 36. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 405, Senator Augustine, Higher Education Student Identification Cards, Required Information.
Senate Bill 405 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 405, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 714, Senator Kagan, Public Safety 911 Emergency Telephone System Alterations.
Senate Bill 714 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 714, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 815, Senator Klossmeyer, Mental Health Facilities, Sexual Abuse and Harassment Reporting and Prevention.
Senate Bill 815 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 815, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 816, Senator Klossmeyer, Unemployment Insurance, Employee Contributions. This is an emergency bill.
Senate Bill 816 is on third reader for final passage. Senators, this is an emergency bill. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 816, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 817, Senator Klossmeyer, Unemployment Insurance Study on System Reforms. This is an emergency bill.
Senate Bill 817 is on third reader for final passage. This is an emergency bill. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 817, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 818, Senator Klossmeyer, Unemployment Insurance, Maryland Department of Labor, Accountability and Oversight. This is an emergency bill.
Senate Bill 818 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? Chair recognizes Senator from District 8.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just with all the unemployment bills, and I know we probably are not done yet, but I just want, for those who believe in saints, today is St. Joseph's Day, the patron saint of workers. So I just thought it was apropos that I would say that.
Well said, well
he's
said.
sitting right here on my desk if anybody would like to say hi to him.
Very good, very good. We could all use a few more patron saints these days. Excellent. All right, any further explanations of vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 818, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 819, Senator Klossmeyer, Unemployment Insurance Weekly Benefit Amount, Income Disregard. This is an emergency bill.
Senate Bill 819 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 819, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 832, Charles County Senators, Southern Maryland, Multifamily Dwelling Registration Fees and Fines.
Senate Bill 832 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 832, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 862, Senator Wallstreicher, arrest warrants issued by District Court Commissioners, recalled by Judge.
Senate Bill 862 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 862, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 874, Senator Jackson, Work Group to Study Partial Expungement. This is an emergency bill.
Senate Bill 874 is on third reader for final passage. This is an emergency bill. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 874, the senator from the 27th District, first bill across the Senate, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 907, Senator Benson, Human Services, Critical Medical Needs Program, Application for Assistance.
Senate Bill 907 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 907, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 923, Senator Washington, Maryland Medical Assistance Program, Eligibility.
Senate Bill 923 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 923, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Onwards, 37. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 85, Senator Rosapep, creating Governor's Office of Immigrant Affairs.
Senate Bill 85 is on third reader for final passage.
Mr. President.
Yes, Chair recognizes Senator from District 5.
Yeah, I just wanted to see if I could, when I asked questions on this yesterday, maybe I'll ask the floor leader to yield, if she would be happy to yield for a question.
Well, it appears
Of
so.
course.
Senator may proceed.
I understand with the way things are in here, it can be a little difficult to sometimes hear or to have, when we have a dialogue. But I thought that I had asked about defining about whether this bill specified whether we were dealing with just legally present and legal immigrants, or whether we were also dealing with people who are here in an undocumented fashion. So I think you had said that it didn't specify.
It just is an office to make it more efficient for any immigrants to deal with issues, whether that's about becoming citizens, getting services like health care or language translation. One-stop
think I see.
shopping.
Thank you very much. I think I see perhaps where the misunderstanding occurred. I appreciate the answer to the question because it defines immigrant in the bill as a resident of the state, not a citizen of the United States, of course, and whose country of origin is a country other than the United States. So my question was, are we saying that this is going to be a state tax dollars assigned to helping folks who are immigrating here following the process, or is it going to be something where anybody that is here, whether they are following the legal process or not, and is here legally or not, and so it's based on the way the bill reads to me, this is another example of us deciding that we're going to start spending taxpayer dollars in a way to support people who are here both legally, which I strongly support, and we love and welcome immigrants, but we also have to have some level of rule of law, and we have to have a prioritization for tax dollars and for government resources that prioritizes those who are following the law. And so I'm going to be voting against this bill because, again, it appears to be something that is trying to, again, make the point that there really isn't any difference between whether you come here legally, following a legal process, have your visa, or whether you are someone who is here illegally. So that's troubling and problematic in my opinion. I know the bent of this General Assembly has been to basically disregard that there should be any difference or that there really should be much of any rules about who comes here to the country and stays. I still believe, even though Washington has been very much a failure on this, I still believe we need to abide by the immigration law that we have and not be encouraging illegal immigration, which I believe this would do. So I am voting no on the bill. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. All right, any further discussion on the bill? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 32 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 85, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 446, Senator West, Department of the Environment, Supplemental Environmental Projects Database.
Senate Bill 446 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 446, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 453, Senator Edwards, Allegheny County and Garrett County Archery Hunting Safety Zone.
Senate Bill 453 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 453, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 471, Senator Washington, Task Force to Study Crime Classification and Penalties Alterations.
Senate Bill 471 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 471, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 474, Senator Eckert, Real Property Sale of Mobile Home Parks Notice Requirements.
Senate Bill 474 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 474, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Senator, you want to catch us at the end of the calendar?
Yes.
Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 477, Senator McCray, Enoch Pratt Free Library Operating Hours and Funding.
Senate Bill 477 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 477, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 488, Senator Bidle, Family Law, Marriage Licenses and Records.
Senate Bill 488 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 488, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 497, Senator Kelly, Juvenile Services Education Board and Program Establishment Powers and Duties.
Senate Bill, do we want to special order this one to Monday? Okay. All right. Senate Bill 497 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? Just in explaining my vote, Senators, this was a bill that the Chair of Finance has cared a great deal about for many, many years. That was the thought about Monday, but I think she will be fine just seeing it move along. So with that, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 497, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 505, Senator Heddleman, Criminal Law, First-Degree Child Abuse, Continuing Course of Conduct.
Senate Bill 505 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 505, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 526, Senator McCray, Legal Education Success Collaborative established.
Senate Bill 526 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 526, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Chair recognizes the senator from the 43rd District.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to be recorded in the green for SB 474.
474 in the green. Are there any objections? Without objections, so ordered. Chair recognizes the senator from District 8.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I would like to change my vote from a green to a red on 85, please.
On 85, green to red. Any objections? Without objections, so ordered. All right. 38. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 538, Senator Gazzoni, Community Colleges and Private Nonprofit Institutions of Higher Education Funding.
Senate Bill 538 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 538, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 550, Senator Bidles, Sheila E. Hickson, Behavioral Health Services Matching Grant Program for Service Members and Veterans Establishment.
Senate Bill 550 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 550, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 551, Senator Rosapep, Work Group on School Construction and Senate.
Senate Bill 551 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 551, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 592, Senator Zucker, State Child Welfare System reporting.
Senate Bill 592 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 592, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 649, Senator Griffith, Procurement and BE Program Compliance Review and Oversight.
Senate Bill 649 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 649, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 651, Senator Klossmeyer, Baltimore County Workers' Compensation, Permanent Partial Disability Detention and Correctional Officers.
Senate Bill 651 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 651, having received a constitutional majority, are declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 686, Senator Smith, real property condominiums, homeowners associations, and cooperative housing corporations, virtual meetings.
Senate Bill 686 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 686, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 690, Senator Signor, Public Information Act, inspection of records from body-worn digital recording devices.
Senate Bill 690 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 690, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 698, Senator Eckert, real property transfer on death deed task force.
Senate Bill 698 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 698, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 699, Senator McCray, Baltimore Regional Neighborhood Initiative Program Fund.
Senate Bill 699, third reader, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 699, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next, 39, calendar 39. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 735, Senator West, State Government Notarial X, remote notarizations.
Senate Bill 735 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 735, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 745, Senator Elfrith, Health Occupation State Board of Massage Therapy Examiners Revisions.
Senate Bill 745 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 745, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 748, Senator Bidle, Public Health State Designated Exchange Clinical Information.
Senate Bill 748 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 748, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 767, Senator Washington, Higher Education Hungry-Free Campus Grant Program established.
Senate Bill 767 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 767, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 771, Senator Hester, Unemployment Insurance Work Share Expansion Act of 2021. This is an emergency bill.
Senate Bill 771 is on third reader for final passage. This is an emergency bill, Senators. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 771, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 800, Senator Patterson, Inmate Training and Job Act of 2021.
Senate Bill 800 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 800, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 845, Senator Benson, Education Workforce Development Sequence Scholarships Eligibility.
Senate Bill 845 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 845, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 895, Senator Rosapep, University System of Maryland Student Fees Review and Spending.
Senate Bill 895 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 895, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Calendar 40. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 8, Senator Kagan, General Provision State Song Repeal.
Senate Bill 8 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? Chair recognizes Minority Whip.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. President. I'd like to speak briefly on this. In the past, I'd always opposed the repealing of the state song, and it's not that I actually thought it was good lyrics, but in that, I thought it was history. I thought it was an important history. And actually, over this summer, I had a couple, I actually read a whole book on the history of Maryland in the Civil War, and it was actually fascinating in that we probably would have seceded had Lincoln not taken the actions, and correctly so, that Lincoln took, suspending habeas corpus, sending federal troops down here. They even basically had federal troops, they had them voting, northern troops who were stationed down here vote in the elections, and therefore the General Assembly, hopefully not for the last time, but actually became Republican because they had all the federal troops down here voting and essentially stuffing the ballot boxes and all kinds of things, shutting down the press. And they were things that were done correctly, though, because had Lincoln not taken those actions that he took, now looking back, what happened after the election, you had essentially the Southern Democrats come back in control, and they said, well, Lincoln's actions were tyrannical because he shut down the press, he stuffed the ballot boxes, federal troops basically took over Maryland for the whole war. And so they get this state song in there that refers to Lincoln as a tyrant. And so I just thought the history of it was interesting and something to look, that people should understand Maryland's role and all that. But one thing that made me change my mind on it, I was at the RNC convention event this summer, and I was I went up to talk to somebody else, and they saw I was a Maryland Republican, and first they marvel at you. I didn't even know there were Republicans in Maryland. Yes, there are. Yeah, I'm a Republican in Maryland. And the guy says to me, your state is so Democratic, your state song even trashes Abraham Lincoln. And to be honest, I thought, he's right. It's kind of embarrassing. So given we are the party of Lincoln, and Lincoln is correctly recognized as one of our greatest, if not greatest, president, and to uphold the heritage of that great president and the party that we represent, I'll be voting green on this because I think it is not appropriate to have a state song that refers to our great president, Abraham Lincoln, as a tyrant. Thank you.
Thank you for that reflection, Senator. Any further discussion on the bill? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 8, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Senator?
Mr. President.
Oh, try to explain. I'm sorry, Senator, I did not see you.
That's all right.
Senator, may proceed.
Just briefly, I didn't get to see the numbers, if that's able to be put back up there. I just want to say two quick things. Can we put the total?
Senator, that's not possible.
No, not possible.
Sorry.
Okay. This body speaking as one voice, I think, is so important. That was not the case across the hall, and so I just want to express pride and respect in this body for speaking together against hate, against division, and for whatever reasons and whatever inspired it in each of our hearts. I think it's important, and just the last thing I want to do is say that these efforts to repeal go back to 1974, after it was quite controversial to install this song. I just want to give a shout out to former Senator Clarence Blount, to Howie Dennis, to former delegates who became senators, Jim Roby, Speaker, Ben Cardin, Senator Coulahan, former Senator Barbara Robinson, our friend here in District 42, and my predecessor, Jenny Forehand, are among the many who have tried over the years to repeal it, and now we're going to finally get it done and make right and return pride to the state of Maryland. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator from District 34, I missed the explaining. I think we called the vote too early, but we'll call it personal privilege for 2 minutes. If it was the explaining vote, Senator?
Just explain the vote.
Yeah, we'll call it explain the vote for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. President. So my mother's side of the family goes back to the Revolution, so I'm very proud of my family's history in Maryland. My great uncle was actually lionized as the hero of Baltimore. He was the fellow who was outside along the creek and heard, as a artillery officer, heard the British Marines rowing around Fort McHenry to land and had his cannons loaded with grape shot and opened up. So had family fighting in the Civil War on the Union side in Maryland. So I have great respect for our history. And I always look at the state song. It's got some great lines in there about the history, going all the way back to the Revolution. And when I looked at the song, I thought, is there any way we can sort of do a hunt and peck here, pull the "We Hate Lincoln" stuff out of there and go with the more the revolutionary stuff? Is there any way we can do that? And I read through the song a lot of times, just thinking maybe we can just sort of excise the stuff that isn't so good. But unfortunately, it just permeates the entire song. So after much looking and much thinking, I share the Minority Whip's conclusion that it just it's the wrong song. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. All right, clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 438, Senator Washington, Public Schools, Pregnant and Parenting Students, Policies and Reports.
Senate Bill 438 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 438, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 636, Senator Hayes, Housing and Community Development, Neighborhood Revitalization, Passive House Pilot Program.
Senate Bill 636 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 636, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 658, Senator Kagan, Maryland Department of Emergency Management Establishment and Transfer of Maryland 911 Board.
Senate Bill 658 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 658, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 749, Senator Ellis, Charles County Board of Education, Membership Alterations.
Senate Bill 749 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. All right, with 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 749, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 830, Senator Lamb, Secretary of Health, School-Based Health Centers, Guidelines and Administration of Grants.
Senate Bill 830 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, everyone record their vote. Record their vote. The clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 830, having received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 893, Senator Rosapep, Unemployment Insurance Revision and Special Enrollment Periods for Health Benefits. This is an emergency bill.
Senate Bill 893 is on third reader for final passage. Senators, it's an emergency bill. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 893, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. End of the calendar. Chair recognizes the senator from the 27th District.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to be recorded in green.
749?
749, thank you.
Any objections? Without objection, so ordered. I think it's at this time our prior president emeritus would talk to us about the story of the paperclip and the green, and that's how you got paid, and green for the rest of the day. That's about probably when that story would come out at this point in session. All right, calendar number 41.
Hey, Mr. President.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. Yes, Senator from 45th District.
I missed the vote on Senate Bill 893. I'd like to be recorded in the green.
893, Senator wishes to be recorded in the green. Without any objections? Without objection, so ordered. All right, calendar 41. Clerk will read the bill. First bill.
Senate Bill 300, Senator Peters, Special Education Learning Continuity Plan Requirement.
Senate Bill 300 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 300, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 683, Senator Kramer, Election Law, Voting Permanent Absentee Ballot List, Ballot Drop Boxes, and Report.
Senate Bill 683 is on third reader for final passage. Chair recognizes the senator from the 34th District.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, it won't be long, but I think it is important that we recognize that there is a lot of angst, as there well should be, about the integrity of the voting process. And so, you know, when you are in the courts, they make a strong effort. You know, the judge wears the black robe, and there's a lot of formality to show people that you can have confidence in the court, that we have big seals and all that. And we do that here. The formality of this institution gives voters confidence that the laws, everything we do here, has the effect of giving voters confidence, the citizens confidence that we take this seriously. This is a process. The big Capitol dome and all that, it legitimizes us. And so too with at the very basic level, our ballot. It's important that people have confidence in that. And I don't have a problem with expanding the absentee voters. I mean, we want to make it convenient to people. But we do have to recognize that the absentee voter process has an inherent challenge with it, that it's just not as secure as bringing people in to the polls. That there's two different systems. We have one set of security for go to the poll and one set for not going to the polls. And the biggest risk that we face there, in my opinion, is the potential for vote harvesting, ballot harvesting. And the senator from Carroll County offered a very reasonable set of amendments to try to reduce that possibility, to reduce the risk. Couldn't eliminate it. There's no way you can eliminate it. But he asked for very reasonable amendments to reduce the risk of ballot harvesting that can be used for people to get the list of voters and go out and intimidate them, trick them, and everything else to subvert the quality, the integrity of the voting process. I really felt that it was inappropriate for us to reject those amendments. I think that we need to do everything we can, regardless of what any other state does. We in Maryland should do everything we can to to ensure the integrity of the voting process. So I'll be voting no on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. All right, any further discussion on the bill? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote?
Explain my vote, Mr. President.
Mr. President?
Yes. Chair has a senator from the 19th District.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I would be remiss if I didn't quickly jump up and say it's exactly 10 years ago that I first introduced this bill in the House, and it passed, but evidently, like many of my bills, it needed to ferment a while. And I want to thank the committee and the chair for finally bottling and putting a cork into this. Like a fine wine, it finally reached its prime. I don't want any committee chairs to think that they should allow any other legislation I have to continue fermenting. We don't want it to spoil. But the reason for this bill is that we need to give everyone in this state who's a registered voter every opportunity to participate in our democracy. And despite the fantastical claims we have heard about problems with vote by mail, there has never been any empirical data whatsoever to substantiate those claims. So that's what they are. Nothing more than claims. This bill is a tiny step to give our residents their best shot, their best opportunity to participate in our democracy. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Senator. Chair recognizes Senator from District 5. 2 minutes to explain his vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, the gentleman that just spoke, I don't think his bills are fermenting too much this year. They're coming out quick. But I just wanted to say, in explaining my vote, I didn't want to give some long floor speech, but what I'm frustrated by with the tenor and tone of what's happened nationally is that we get stuck in this black and white situation where if you think there should be some additional safeguards, like, for example, the amendment that I had to sort of put a limit on how many sealed ballots could be picked up at one time or in one election by somebody, it gets lost in like, well, you're just somebody who's trying to say that there's all this fraud. We hear even what my friend across the aisle just said about there's no empirical data. Well, it's very hard to get a lot of empirical data on things when we don't force anybody to show ID at the polls, or we don't have certain metrics and certain things in place for vote by mail because we'd never done it before. So those of us that were asking for some more safeguards are not implying that there's millions of thousands and thousands of votes being stolen, but we do want to just be sure there were some additional safeguards. And I think it's fair, and I think there should be concern that even if there's some fraud, that we should try to do as much as we can and have a balance between access, which in Maryland everybody already had complete access because you could vote by absentee for any reason. There should be a balance between access and security, and we are asking for a little bit more security. So my vote is read on this bill, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. Any senators wish to explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 31 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 683, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk, read the next bill.
Senate Bill 687, Senator Smith, State and Local Housing Programs Affirmatively Furthering Fair Housing.
Senate Bill 687 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 687, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 726, Senator Feldman, Vehicle Laws, Personal Delivery Devices, Standards and Requirements.
Senate Bill 726 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 726, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 737, Senator Rosapep, Comprehensive Conservation Finance Act.
Senate Bill 737 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 737, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read, next calendar. We're on to 42. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 97, Senator Rosapep, Purple Line Marketing Act.
Senate Bill 97 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? Chair recognizes Minority Whip.
Yeah, thank you. I was just right now a question for floor leader. I was on here Googling, trying to figure out where the Purple Line is in the process. Maybe you could update us. I see all kinds of the court decisions and contractors. Just trying to figure out where we're at with the Purple Line.
Floor leader, yield to the question. Senator may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Purple Line extends from Prince George's County, New Carrollton, through into Montgomery County, and it terminates at the end in Bethesda.
Yeah, I guess I should be more clear. I'm familiar with what the Purple Line is. I guess my question is, when is it going to be completed?
The Purple Line is currently, it has been delayed, and they are in the process now of recompeting for the vendor who will complete the construction. Until that process is completed, there is not a specific date certain that the project is going to be delivered.
So, and then my understanding, my quick read of this bill is it's $1 million to advertise for the Purple Line?
The $1 million is for the marketing plan for the Purple Line.
To market the people to ride the Purple Line?
Correct. The Purple Line, like any other public-private partnership, or rather, like this being a public-private partnership, $5.6 billion, is a combination of state funds and fare box recovery, which is the money that you get from people who are paying for the fares. The state of Maryland is on the hook for the entire $5.6 billion. The expectation is that we will get $1.3 billion in the fare box. The $1 million is there to make sure that we do a good job of marketing this service so that we do get that ridership, and so that we are able to get that fare box recovery, thereby saving money for the state overall.
I guess my question is, it just seems maybe, are we putting the cart before the horse here, that we should complete it before we start spending money to advertise it?
The way that we have set this up is we have established that we are asking for the department to establish to give us, we've given them guide rails on the plan, and then we have set for a report that tells us how they intend to make the plan, and then we have set that they would complete the marketing and spend the money 1 year prior to in-service date, such that they can build the momentum for people to be ready to use the service when it comes online.
Okay, but so it's just my last question, I'll be done, thank you. But the date of this, the completion of it is uncertain, correct?
Right now it is scheduled, it was originally scheduled to come online at the end of 22. The reason that you're hearing me hesitate is because there have been delays in the construction. They have been able to catch up sometimes, and it has also slowed down. That was the original delivery date, but they are unwilling right now, and we can understand that as they are trying to get the prime contractor for construction re-engaged. That is the reason why they're not committing to that date.
All right.
But the expectation is that that the delay will be, in the grand scheme of things, it will be a minor delay, but the 36-year contract is still in place.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Senators. Any further discussion on the bill? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 33 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 97, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 196, Chair Budget and Taxation Committee, Economic Development, Research and Development Tax Credit Alterations.
Senate Bill 196 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 196, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 259, Chair Budget and Taxation Committee, Department of Transportation, Grant Anticipation Revenue Vehicle Bonds, Calculation of Debt Limit.
Senate Bill 259 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 259, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 286, Senator Augustine, Behavioral Health Crisis Response Services Modifications.
Senate Bill 286 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 286, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 401, Senator Carter, Landlord-Tenant Non-Renewal of Lease Notice Requirements.
Senate Bill 401 is on third reader for final passage. Chair recognizes the senator from 34th District.
Thank you, Mr. President. So, colleagues, this bill it changes notice requirements that landlords have to give to tenants, expands them from what they currently are. And it's based upon some unsubstantiated allegations that maybe the landlords, that during the pandemic, that landlords were able to basically put tenants out by misusing the termination dates. Of course, there was no evidence of that. That's just some mere allegation. It's not substantiated. It wasn't quantified. There's no data. So I just thought I'd bring that up so that since this body decided in just a previous vote that, hey, unless you can quantify and show empirical data that shows that there's some chance of misusing a state process, that we reject it. So just to allow everybody to be consistent between this vote and the vote on their votes on the polling, the absentee ballots, you can all just join me in voting red on this one. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Bill's on third reader. Any further discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 30 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 401 is on third, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 415, Senator Pinsky, Public Financing Act, Matching Fund Revisions, Maryland Fair Elections Act.
Senate Bill 415 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 38 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 415, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 459, Senator Feldman, Economic Development Comprehensive Technical Assistance Program Establishment.
Senate Bill 459 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 459, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 622, Senator Edwards, Income Tax Subtraction Modification Donations to Diaper Banks and Other Charitable Entities.
Senate Bill 622 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 622, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 639, Senator Augustine, Maryland Technology Development Corporation Inclusion Fund Establishment.
Senate Bill 639 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 639, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 717, Senator Zucker, State Personnel Collective Bargaining, Exclusive Representative Access to New Employees.
Senate Bill 717 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 32 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 717, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 732, Senator Patterson, Economic Development, Maryland Innovation Initiative, University Partnership Pilot Program Establishment.
Senate Bill 732 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote?
Mr. President.
Yes, Chair recognizes the senator from the 37th District. 2 minutes,
Yes,
explain.
thank you very much. On Senate Bill 415 from red to green.
Oh,
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry, Senator, we got to close the vote first. Oh, one moment.
Sorry.
Any senators wish to explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 732, having received the constitutional majority, is declared passed. Chair recognizes the senator from the 37th District.
Thank you very much. I'll try it again. Thank you. Senate Bill 415 from red to green. Thank you.
415, red to green. Any objections? Without objection, so ordered. Chair recognizes the minority leader.
Sorry about that. Senate Bill 717, could you make that red, please?
717 from green to red. Any objections? Without objection, so ordered. On to calendar 43. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 769, Senator Hester, income tax credit for Finicin donation, alterations, extension, and testing for chronic wasting disease.
Senate Bill 769 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 769, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 778, Senator Elfreth, Regional Institutions Strategic Enterprise Zone Program alterations.
Senate Bill 778 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 778, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 783, Senator Hayes, Baltimore City West North Avenue Development Authority.
Senate Bill 783 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 783, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 801, Senator Griffith, Labor and Employment Economic Stabilization Act alterations.
Senate Bill 801 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 801, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 803, Senator Edwards, Economic Development, Western Maryland Economic Future Investment Board and Fund Establishment.
Senate Bill 803 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 803, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 837, Senator Kramer, Health Advanced Care Planning and Advanced Directives.
Senate Bill 837 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. Bless you. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 837, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 857, Senator Hester, Health, Maryland Behavioral Health and Public Safety Center of Excellence Establishment.
Senate Bill 857 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 857, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 914, Senator McCray, Sheriff of Baltimore City.
Senate Bill 914 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 914, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 919, Senator Gallion, Horse Racing, Fairhill Natural Resources Management Area.
Senate Bill 919 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 919, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 933, Senator Benson, Financial Regulation, Access to Banking and Financial Services Reporting.
Senate Bill 933 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 933, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 943, Senator Gazzone, University of Maryland Strategic Partnership Act of 2016, Appropriations and Degree and Credential Programs Alteration.
Senate Bill 943 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 943, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Calendar 44. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 413, Senator Gazzoni, Maryland Legal Services, Corporation Funding, Abandoned Property.
Senate Bill 413 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 413, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 597, Senator Washington, State Board of Social Work Examiners, revisions.
Senate Bill 597 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 597, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 754, Senator Hayes, Public Service Commission, Damaged, Obsolete, or Excessive Line Study.
Senate Bill 754 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 754, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 762, Senator McCray, Maryland Electricians Act revisions.
Senate Bill 762 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 762, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 846, Senator Benson, Home Energy Assistance Critical Medical Needs Program, Power to the People Pilot Program.
Senate Bill 846 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 846, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 856, Senator Hershey, Electric Companies Billing Information.
Senate Bill 856 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 856, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. All right, we've got Senate Calendar 45. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 303, Senator Patterson, General Provisions, Commemorative Days, Tuskegee Airmen Commemoration Day.
All right, Senate Bill 303 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. Vice Chair of Education, take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 303, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 623, Senator Lee, Criminal Law, Crimes Involving Computers.
Senate Bill 623 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 623, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 705, Senator Bidle, State Airports, Commercial Activity, Rental Vehicles, and Peer-to-Peer Car Sharing.
Senate Bill 705 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 43 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 705, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 836, Senator Bidle, State Board of Dental Examiners, Disciplinary Process and Actions Task Force.
Senate Bill 836 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 836, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. All right, we've got Calendar 46. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 664, Senator Ellis, Education, Student Financial Aid, Outreach Plan, and Advisory Committee.
Senate Bill 664 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 664, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 764, Senator Washington, Work Group on Adaptive Reuse of Vacant Commercial Spaces.
Senate Bill 764 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 764, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 821, Senator Hester, Alcoholic Beverages, Manufacturers Licenses, and Off-Site Permits. This is an emergency bill.
Senate Bill 821 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 821, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 824, Senator Hester, Economic Development, Broadband Providers, Joint Trenching and Fee, Building Our Broadband Act of 2021.
Senate Bill 824 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 824, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 922, Senator Lamb, Office of Legislative Audits, Acceptance and Investigation of Allegations of Fraud, Waste, and Abuse.
Senate Bill 922 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 922, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 926, Senator Quarterman, Economic Development, Maryland Stadium Authority, Hagerstown Multi-Use Sports and Events Facility.
Senate Bill 926 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 926. Is this the senator's first bill through the Senate? Oh, second. Not as exciting. We may have missed the first one. Apparently, the second. But 926 is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 931, Senator Jackson, Prince George's County School Facilities and Public Safety Surcharges and Report, Sunset Extension and Report.
Senate Bill 931 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? Chair recognizes the senator from the 27th District. No? Oh, picture, sorry. If not, clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 931, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. All right, we have one special order bill. If we could call up that last special order bill.
Senate Bill 163, Senator Ellis, Maryland Medical Assistance Program, Doula Pilot Program.
Chair recognizes the minority leader.
Thank you. My questions have been answered, and I appreciate the senator from District 28 explaining this has nothing to do with doula. Thank you.
Thanks, Senator. All right, Senate Bill 163 is on third reader for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. All right, with 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 163, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Senators, the desk is cleared. Well done. And can we please give a huge round of applause to our Secretary of the Senate's office? They are just rocking and rolling. We did, I think, over 100 third readers tonight, getting all of those moving copies into the computer, loaded up. It is an enormous amount of work, and we are just so thankful for them. Other note, feel free, senators, as you are walking past the empty House chamber, to take pictures of the empty House chamber and post it on your friendly social media to remind them that the Senate gets its work done during the work week. Are there any other announcements, any committee? Yes, Chair recognizes Senator from the 38th District.
Can we change a vote on a previous calendar?
Still okay? Yep.
Okay. I'm not sure what the calendar number is, but it's Senate SB 857.
857. From what to what?
From yay to nay.
From yay to nay. 857. Any objections to the senator's motion? No. Without objection, so ordered. Chair recognizes the senator from Frederick City.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think I missed voting on 926, and I'd like to be recorded in the green.
926, senator would like to be in the affirmative. Any objections? Without objection, so ordered. All right. Chair recognizes the senator from District 8.
Yes, Chair, the delegation, Baltimore County, as far as I know, we will be meeting at 9 o'clock on Tuesday morning. So,
excellent.
Tuesday morning, 9 o'clock.
All right. Do we need to do any committee announcements? Anything on Monday mornings? Chair recognizes the Chair of Education, Health, and Environmental Affairs.
Mr. President, would you first announce the schedule for Monday, and then I can fill in the gap?
Yep. So it's looking like we will do noon on Monday. We'll go from ideally noon to 3. We'll break. There's executive noms. There's a few other committee work, and then we'll come back on the floor at 7. So noon and 7. Please.
Mr. President, with that being said, Education, Health, and Environment will have at least one meeting at 4 o'clock on Monday to take up Senate Bill 965, the Blueprint Emergency Bill. Committee members, you will be receiving a copy of the House amendments that you may want to look at over the weekend before the 4 o'clock meeting on Monday and begin to prepare amendments you may want to consider. We may have, depending on when we finish the afternoon session, we may have another brief voting session prior to that, like at 3:30. We have, I think, 2 or 3 more bills on our list that we'd like to take up. So 4 o'clock for sure, and depending on the activity Monday afternoon, we may have another brief voting session either before 4 o'clock or after executive noms.
Great. Thank you, Senator. Chair recognizes the Vice Chair of Finance.
Yeah. Yes, Mr. President. Because of the anti-harassment training, a lot of our folks in the committee are doing the 10 to 12 or a little later. But we are going to vote on Monday morning at 9:30 in the Senate Finance Committee.
9:30 Monday Finance. Thank you, Senator. Chair recognizes the Chair of Budget and Tax.
Thank you, Mr. President. If Budget and Tax could just hold 11 on Monday as a possibility for voting. You'll get some notice over the weekend, but just hold it for now.
11 on Monday for Budget and Tax. Chair recognizes the Chair of JP. They're ready to roll. See them at noon on Monday. Any other announcements? Yes, Chair recognizes the Chair of the Rules Committee.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to remind everyone that the Rules Committee will be meeting on Tuesday at 10:30. If you have legislation that you want us to entertain, be sure that you get that to us as soon as possible. Thank you.
Tuesday at 10:30, Senator? Is that 10:30? All right, Tuesday 10:30 for the Rules Committee. Please make sure to reach out to the Rules Committee Chair if there's a bill that you would like to see moving. Chair recognizes the Chair of the Executive Nominations Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just another reminder, executive noms, 5 o'clock Monday. It should be a fairly short meeting unless I'm surprised.
All right. 5 o'clock executive noms. Any other delegations, select committees for the good of the order? If not, let's do a quorum call before we adjourn.
Mr. President?
Has everyone recorded their presence? One moment. Don't rush, you're okay. Let's start. Clerk will take the call. With 45 members in the chamber and a quorum being present, the Senate of Maryland remains in session. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate of Maryland stand adjourned until Monday, March 22nd at 12 p.m.
Without objection, so ordered. Senators, take the rest of the night off.